Anybody going to do any traveling this summer? Anybody? Somebody? Oh, you're staying here in beautiful downtown DeLand, I guess, all right? Maybe some might be taking a plane. I travel by plane this summer. And there are two types of plane travelers. Those who like to check in their luggage so they're hands-free, won't be tied down. And there are others like myself who travel by carry-on. Forbid handing anything in, because don't want to wait when I arrive, and also the fear of them losing my luggage, so I like having everything with me. In fact, I have the distinction of taking a 2-week trip to Europe. I was a chaplain on the pilgrimage, taking a 2-week trip to Europe and went by carry-on only. Pretty good, huh? Of course, I didn't change my shirt for 2 weeks, but anyway. No, I prefer carry-on. So what I normally do, when I arrange my seats, I try to get my seat in the back of the plane, even though you're the last one off, but at least I know that I have first crack at that overhead storage, right? Because especially now where they charge you extra money for luggage, more and more people are trying to do carry-on. Well, last weekend I had to go up to Washington, D.C. It was for the ordination of a young man from my previous parish. So I wanted to witness it, and so flew up with my former pastor. Anyway, we came home Saturday night. The plane was delayed. What else is new? But anyway, I didn't arrange my tickets, and I noticed I'm in Zone 7. And Zone 7 is a little bit too late for me because I noticed more and more zones are going in, and I'm thinking, oh no, they're going to take all my storage space, and they're going to come, the stewardess is going to come and tell me, sir, we'll take that from you, we're tagging, you could pick it up down at, oh no, you're not. You're not taking my, I don't. And so anyway, so I was a little anxious, and it calls Zone 6, and Zone 6 was coming to the end, and I'm getting up, stretching, ready to get going. And there at the tail end of Zone 6 is this family. I guess they were coming to Orlando for Disney. There's about 3 or 4 kids, mom and dad, I think even a grandma, and they all had luggage. Everyone had luggage. In fact, some of them looked like a trunk on wheels. Thinking they're not going to let them on with that, will they? So I'm watching very carefully now. Hopefully they enforce the rule. And I'm watching, and one slipped by. I said, oh no, they're going to get through. Then luckily another lady came there, the stewardess came over, and they stopped them. The next thing I know, they're getting into a little discussion. I see them gesturing and measuring and them not wanting to give up their luggage. But finally they surrendered. Their luggage, they tagged it, and whew, sigh of relief. Because when I got on the plane, I got that last available space. So I was very grateful that they stopped them. You know, I'm thinking to myself, being a Christian is sort of the same way. Being a Christ follower. See, when we follow Christ, most of us like to keep our stuff. We want to keep our luggage. I keep my baggage. I don't want to check it in. I want to hold on to it. And the Lord says, to be my follower, you must deny yourself, give up things, and then follow me. But too often we want it both ways. Oh, I want to be a Christian disciple, but I'm going to hold on to what I have. I don't want to change my lifestyle. I don't want to change my habits, my behavior. I don't want to check it in. I want to hold on to it. And Christ says, no, you can't be my follower. You got to get rid of stuff. The stuff that doesn't belong. And so I invite myself and I invite you this morning. What is it that I need to let go of? What is it that I need to check in? Any of my habits, my behaviors, my lifestyle that doesn't fit in being a Christ follower? Some years ago, they did a study on those who attend church and those who don't. And what they studied was their lifestyle, their behavior, how they conduct themselves, you know? How are they in their morality and honesty and their generosity? How are they in their love relationships, sexuality, all those different things. So what's the difference between one who goes to church and one who doesn't? You know what they found out? They found only one significant difference between those who go to church and those who don't. And the only difference was this. One goes to church and the others didn't. That's it. There was no difference in how they lived. There's no remarkable difference between a lifestyle, how they carry themselves, their honesty, their generosity, their morality. No different. Just that one went to church and one didn't. And the Lord says, wait, it can't be that way. To be my follower means to deny yourself, to pick up your cross, and to follow me. You know, I love basketball. I used to love it more when I was younger. Now I'm getting old and I love basketball. I'm not a Miami Heat fan, but I love basketball anyway. I mean, it was my 8th grade summer, getting ready to go into high school. And I wanted to get better in basketball, so I decided that I was going to devote myself to basketball, and only basketball. I'm an early riser, so I was up early in summer mornings. I'd be at the park there at 7 in the morning. I'd be the only one in the park, of course, and there'd be the city traffic, the trucks rumbling by, and there I was, just working, practicing, and practicing. Later in the mid-morning, my little kid brother would come. I had to cross in the street, and he would be with me, and we'd play these shooting games to keep me company. Then it was time to go home for lunch, and I would have lunch, and my mother would look at me and said, "Look at you. You're sweating, it's hot, stay inside. Stay where it's cool." I said, "Mom, I can't. I gotta practice." And out I would go again, and solitary figure there in the afternoon. And in the evenings, I would still go to the park, but then the bigger guys would play, and I'd just sort of watch, and hopefully one day I would be able to play with them. So anyway, at the end of the summer, you know what happened? Not much happens when you're 5'10", you can't jump. I did get a good suntan, though. I mean, nothing else. No pool, no beach. But I said, no, I got to play. But it told me one thing also. Whatever you value, you sacrifice for, right? Whatever is important for you, you will deny yourself other things so you can have that. And that was more important than learning how to shoot a jump shot or doing a layup. What you value, you sacrifice. And you know that as well. Getting married, right? If you're married, you don't simply take on a husband or wife, but you take on a cross. In a sense, because you have to deny yourself. Right? Living with another person means you have to deny yourself, and they as well. It's self-denial. Because you can no longer simply think of your needs, your wants, your likes. It's the other person. But it's worth it. Whatever you value, it's worth sacrificing for. It's the way it is. Have children? That's not self-denial. I read now today, to raise a child from birth to 18 years old, not including college, costs you, how much was it? $266,000 to raise a child. That's a lot of money. A lot of sacrifice. But we gladly do because we love them, right? So whatever it is, whatever we give, whatever value, we deny ourselves for the good of the other. So therefore, if Christ is important to you, what's the price? What's the cost? What are you giving up? What's the sacrifice? If there's no sacrifice, if there's no hurt, there's no pain, then it can't be all that important. It can't be that important. So we have to check in. Surrender our habits, those lifestyles, those behaviors that doesn't match what Christ asks for us, no matter what the world may do. As I mentioned, I went up to Washington, D.C. this last weekend for the ordination of a young man. And what maybe sort of went up was sort of some sort of little connection anyway with his vocation. Years ago at the parish, we had a parish, sister parish, not in Honduras, but in Haiti. And one summer we went up for a week and we put on a vacation Bible school. And Mark, his name, he came with us. And Mark was a trumpet player in the high school band. So I said, "Oh, good." I said, for the vacation Bible school for the children, you're going to play the trumpet, but you just can't play trumpet looking as you look. Let's dress you up. So I had this nice big pink gorilla suit. I said, "Here, put it on." I had a little black derby, these sunglasses. It doesn't mind if it's 98 degrees in Haiti, there's no air conditioning. Put on this suit. I don't care if you faint, just wear it because it looks great. And so we did. We had this nice big pink gorilla with a black derby playing the trumpet, and the kids would all gather around. All right? Oh, it was hot and it was tough. You've been to Haiti. It's one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, if not the poorest. Huh? Some describe it as hell on earth, and it is. But anyway, he said that occasion that week, playing his trumpet with his pink gorilla suit called Bongo the Gorilla, he said, planted the seed of perhaps maybe. He said, maybe God is calling me to serve him. And it was in the back of his mind, and he went on to high school, finished college, up in Washington, D.C., into psychology, and that thought came back to him again, and he decided, therefore, I'm going to answer it, and he went to the seminary. And so I looked at him at the occasion, and I think it's even much harder now to go into seminary today. It really smacks against what the world says, doesn't it? And especially with a future and a degree in psychology, a smart young man, giving up a life. And he said, no to that and yes to Christ. Whoever loves me picks up the cross, self-denial, and follows in my steps. Again, I ask you and I ask myself, what am I doing? What's it cost me? Because being a Christian means more than simply wearing a crucifix or even coming to church on Sunday. This story told about this fellow named Bob Stamps. Now, Bob Stamps was bald. Anyway, he and his wife went out for a little date, a little dinner one night, and they arranged to have a babysitter to watch their two children, little Peter and little Sissy. And anyway, he was out, and the babysitter probably wasn't the best of babysitters. Got a little distracted, too little absorbed in TV watching. Anyway, when he came home there, he saw his little son Peter, who got into his electric shaver and shaved a landing strip right down the middle of his head. And he said, Peter, I told you, how many times I told you, do not play with my electric razor. Now you're going to get it. And he's about to give the boy a little smack on the backside, and then little Peter said, but Daddy, wait till you see little sis. So Mom and Dad went into the next room, and there was little Sissy, 4-year-old girl. Her head is completely shaven like a skinned rabbit. His father was now livid. He said, now you're going to get a spanking that you'll never forget. And he put him over his knee, and he raised his hand. The little boy with a tear in his eye said, but Daddy, we just wanted to look like you. Couldn't hit him. That stopped. Oh, he wanted to look like me. Well, anyway, he spoke to his son. That's not the way to go about it. But I want to look like Christ. I just want to be like Jesus. But it's more than wearing a crucifix, more than carrying a Bible. It's more than even coming to church on Sunday. It's surrendering myself for Him, picking up my cross and denying myself. Again, I ask you and I ask myself, what luggage, what baggage do I need to check in?